Welcome to the Garden Hutch, formerly known as Common Sense Homestead. Today we're going to discuss a few things to kick off our 2022 gardening year. The first thing we'd like to discuss is why the name change. The second thing that we'd like to discuss is what have we changed since we spoke to you middle of last year. The third thing we'd like to discuss today is the direction we're taking our channel for 2022 and beyond. So we appreciate you all watching. Before we begin, if you have not yet, please remember to like and subscribe. It's going to help us meet a lot of the goals we have for this upcoming year. And let's get to it. The first thing we would like to discuss is the reason for the name change. Common Sense Homestead was a name that Leslie and I fell in love with years ago when we first decided that this is the path we wanted to take in life. We have long wanted to own our own small piece of property, spend a lot of time trying to be self-sustainable, growing healthy foods organically, and learn to improve our health and take care of our own small piece of land. So that's what we did, and we did the name change simply because we wanted our channel name to more reflect our personal passions and the content that you can expect on this channel. As we stated, the second thing that we would like to do in today's video is review what has changed on the homestead since we last saw you all. Once we decided that to change the name to the Garden Hutch and that our emphasis was going to be on gardening, we decided we needed to improve the way we did that, not only to be able to produce more food and be able to show the organic nature and the sustainable nature of what we were trying to do, but we also wanted it to be a bit more presentable for the YouTube channel. So we went through and built a lot of raised beds. We did put in the pallet gardens. They were really successful last year. And so we're hoping that we can get these to the same point coming into this spring. So at this point, you can tell we have filled them halfway with mulch that we have cured here on the property. And we have organic compost being delivered that we are going to fill the rest of the way up. And from there, we will maintain the bed levels with our own compost. We simply just, with the amount of beds we put in, we just do not produce enough compost in 1 year to get those raised up. So in these beds through the course of the year, we'll be showing you all how we do our own compost, how we use the amendments, specifically how we use potash in some areas. For some plants, we'll put eggshells in some beds for other plants, and then some beds will have all the coffee grounds, etc., etc. But this is what we call the old garden. So going forward, you all will kind of have, if we're referencing something, you'll have a way to know that. Khaleesi, you want to say hi? All right, she's not much help in the garden, but she loves her sticks. So let's go take a look at what we call the top garden. And this is what we call the top garden. Last year, it's where we did all of our tomatoes. We did our potatoes down here on the bottom side. Leslie had her flowers down here. And I will point out that we are still going to do the flowers directly sown in the ground this year. The potatoes here, we brought in a bunch of straw and compost last year. We'll plant those directly in the ground and then hill them up sort of like we did last year. I want to try something a little bit different. We'll also space them out better, so we should get a better yield. And we have put in more boxes, or I guess boxes, more raised beds would be more specific. And you can see we are in the middle of filling them right now. We still have a significant amount of mulch that's been aged that we can use. We sort of timed it out where you could see the midpoint of this project. So as we go forward in the year, we can document that as well. And down here we're going to put, this top row will consist of, there'll be 2 more beds right through here, with the final bed, a 7th bed running long ways here. So that'll give us 7 full beds plus the row of potatoes and then the wildflowers over here. And then we have the bed along the other side that also has wildflowers in it. So And then you add that to what we did, and most of you will remember if you watched the pallet garden that we put in last year. And the pallet garden was very influential for us. It kind of opened our eyes to the benefits of raised beds versus in-ground beds. So we got more out of those 6 raised beds food-wise than we did out of the small or the larger in-ground beds. So that was one of the big influences for us. That and the maintenance portion is significantly less. And also the plants just look better out of them. So when we go to film them, they'll be a lot more presentable and easier to access. In this bed specifically, because of the way the pallet beds, because of the way I did the chicken fencing, it's difficult to get on ground level and sort of film everything in there. But anyway, that's sort of where we're going this year with our garden beds. We have a larger garden that next year we will probably be building raised beds in, but we'll go over all of that as we get further and further into the spring. So once again, if you hear us reference the top garden, it'll be these raised beds. And again, you can see where we have the T-post down on this south end of the garden. We will fence all of that off. And this whole thing will be fenced off to keep the chickens out of it. And that way we don't have to fence individual beds. So the third thing we wanted to talk about is the direction our channel is going. I've stated it numerous times in this video that we are a gardening channel. That is our passion. That's what we want to do. And we want to grow the vast majority of food that we eat so that we know where it comes from, that it's organic, it's sustainable, and to be completely frank about it, that our grocery bill gets as close to zero as possible, and not have that reliance on the food chain and that sort of thing during these types of times. So we're going to be showing you all how we prep for the garden, how we grow the garden, start the plants inside, harvest things, how we handle surpluses as far as do we freeze, and we do all of those things. Do we barter? Sometimes we do that as well. And then with what we would really like to do is also document the areas that need improvement. And what I mean by that is right now we have a freezer full of vegetables, but are those vegetables going to last us until we get the first food out of this year's garden? We're hoping so. If not, we're going to share that with you. Where is the holes during the summertime? Are we getting too much of something that we cannot preserve? Are we getting too less of vegetables that we need to preserve to make it through the following winter? We're also going to share with you a couple new additions to our garden this year, things we've never grown that we're hoping can add a bit of fruit or a bit of variety and vitamins, minerals, that types of thing. But having said all that, if you haven't yet, please make sure to like and subscribe the video. You'll hear me saying this a lot this year. We have goals that we have set for this channel that we'd like to reach by December. That's a long time off, but every little bit helps. So until next time, you folks take care of yourself and peace.